1971. It was the year that 18-year-olds got the right to vote in July, and the American casualties in Vietnam hit 45,000 in spring. One wonders how many of those 45,000 were under 21 years of age. At the beginning of the calendar year, I was 26 in the counseling psych doctoral program and living in Dexter. Winter term 1971, I was taking a lot of stat and research classes and developing my thesis. In February 1971, the Department of Defense requested a 2-year extension to the draft. Moving to spring, March 29, 1971, Lieutenant William Calley was found guilty of murdering 22 My Lai civilians. 3 days later, President Nixon ordered him released pending his appeal. April 19, 1971, the Vietnam Vets Against the War began a week of national protest. April 22nd, John Kerry, the director of the Vietnam Vets Against the War, testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee asking the now famous question, how do you ask a man to be the last man to die for a mistake? On June 13, 1971, the New York Times began publication of the Pentagon Papers, an archive of previous decisions of White House administrations on Vietnam. Nixon was furious. As for me, in spring of summer 1971, I had my nose to the grindstone, developing, researching, and writing my dissertation. The title of it was Discrimination Against Women Professionals in a Male-Dominated Profession by Women Consumers. Essentially, what I was trying to find out is, would women choose a woman dentist? At the time, only 2% of dentists were women. I manipulated information and gave it to women and asked them who they would choose as a dentist. I got significant results, but found out women would only choose a woman dentist if she was super dentist and had had a lot of extra training and in different kinds of organizations, etc. Parenthetically, the University of Oregon taught their first women's issues class in 1970. I'm only sorry that I hadn't taken it. Also in spring 1971, I co-led a dental communications workshop, which were 5 dental offices and all the staff and dentists, and I learned the now famous phrase, a drill, a fill, and bill was their mantra. Summer saw me as a teaching fellow, and I taught my first graduate class entitled Group Procedures and Guidance. I had 20 students. All of them were younger than me, because often summer session, it was teachers coming back to take classes, so I happened to be the youngest person in the class. One person in the class was a lieutenant colonel who had already had one tour of duty in Vietnam, and he had led 500 men. I'm still embarrassed that I was teaching him group procedures, since we had become 40-year friends since then. Fall, I turned 27, defended my dissertation. The troop levels fell to 156,000, and I went back to Illinois for Christmas, and I could then be called Dr. Ripley.